Good evening, all of you. So, guys, today is our practical session class, and it's going to be on a very interesting topic, that is line following robot. Okay, so you might have seen this line following robot somewhere on some YouTube, where you will find that there is a path. Okay, and on that path, some robot is there, and it is following and doing some task. Okay, so today we'll practically see how it is, how it can be done, and we'll along with that we'll also see some applications where it can be used. Okay, and if you change the sensors, different other applications can also be built. Okay, so I'll try to give you a very overview kind of idea, and we'll try to go in detail as well wherever possible. Okay, so let's try to move forward, guys. So concept of line following robot. So first of all, we have to understand what is the basic concept behind this. Okay, so as you can see here, these kind of robots you can make. So here we have a four-wheeled robot. You can make two-wheeled robot, you can make four-wheeled, you can make eight-wheeled, depending upon. Okay, but the general concept remains same with all of them. So in this, the concept is that we have two sensors. As you can see, I've shown here. We have IR sensor, which is connected here with the arrow you can see here. So these are two sensors, which is actually the eyes of this robot. Okay, and based on this only, it is able to traverse the complete line. Okay, so here you will observe that if you look at the ground, on the ground you can see there is a black line going on here. Can you see that, guys? Okay, and and towards the end you will see there is a white surface this side, and here also we have the white surface. Okay, so basically what is happening here, this IR sensor is capable of sensing the black and white surface. Okay, and based on that black and white sensing, it is capable to give input to the Arduino board, which you can see here, and this Arduino board will then will be writing some program here in this Arduino board, and there we will take the decision, and based on that our motors will be running. Okay, so you can see there are two motors present here. One, this is wheel, actually the motor is present at this place. Okay, so two motors, one is will be connected with this one, another will be connected with this one. Okay, so basically if I say it is completely the game of your sensors and motors, and in the middle there is your Arduino board along with one more device is there that I will just show you or make you understand later on. Okay, and already we have also discussed about this earlier. That was that is called as motor driver. It's called as motor driver, which helps to drive the motor. Okay, so let's move forward and let's try to understand little bit more depth part. Okay, so here you can see I'm just trying to make you understand the importance of the sensors. So as I told you, it is completely the game of the sensors and motors. So here the sensors which you are seeing here, okay, that is already called as, I told you, it's called IR sensor. Okay, and if you remember, I was showing you the black path and the white surface. So you can see I'm just taken two diagrams here in order to make you understand that if it is a black surface, how the sensors behave, and if it is a white surface, how the sensors will behave. That you have to understand. Okay, so if you look carefully, here this is a black surface, and you all know that black surface are good absorbers. Okay, and this is your IR sensor present here. Okay, so this IR sensor, when it is activated by when you connect your VCC and ground, when you give this plus and minus to this IR sensor, what happens? The infrared light will keep on transmitting from the IR LED. Okay, like this. So when these rays are falling on any surface, I'm trying to say that if there is a rays, it will be surely following or falling on some surface. So suppose this is your black surface which is present here. So what will happen when these rays will fall on this surface? They will get absorbed. You can see I've even is written here also. What will happen? These rays which is falling here, that will be absorbed. So if it is absorbed, that means the reflection will be minimum. Are you getting my point, guys? What will happen? The reflection, whatever rays is falling on this, as it is getting absorbed, so minimum reflection will take place. And because of that, this IR sensor receiver section, RX means receiver section, won't be able to receive the light particles. Okay, and in that case, the IR sensor will say that it is a black surface. Okay, so I hope you are now getting my point, that how our IR sensor is capable of deciding whether a surface is black or not. Okay, and another surface is white surface. So here the logic is completely different. That is, when these rays are falling in it on the white surface, you know that white surfaces are called as best reflectors. So maximum reflection will take place from here. Okay, and because of that, the receiver end of the IR sensor will be able to grab those all reflected rays, and you will get, or you can say the sensor will say that the surface is white. Okay, now how it will happen? Actually, this sensor is a digital sensor. So if it is a black surface, it will generate the value 0. If it is a white surface, it is going to generate the value as 1. Okay, and this 1 and 0 only will be fed to the Arduino board, and based on that we will be writing the program. Clear, guys? So if you change the surface, your value will change, and if the value will change, then accordingly your decision also will change. Okay, now if you look at the surface, let's come to this diagram. You can see I have drawn a very irregular kind of diagram. So what will happen when this robot will move forward? When this robot will move forward, you will observe that the sensor's position will be sometimes will be both the sensors. As you know, there are two sensors here. Let me try to draw the sensor here so that you can understand. Suppose this is my sensor 1, this is my sensor 2. So you just observe, guys, when this complete robot will be moving forward, can you see when this will be moving forward, at this point of time, this sensor will come at this place and it's going to be telling that I am on the black surface. Are you getting my point, guys? So what I'm trying to say here is that when this complete robot will be moving throughout this surface, it will be traversing in such a way that sometime the left sensor will be on the black surface, sometimes the right sensor will be on the black surface, sometimes both of them will be on the white surface. Or, and suppose if I'm putting a black strip here like this, then at the end when they will reach here, both the sensors will be on the black surface. So what I'm trying to say here is that the 4 different scenarios will be available. How many scenarios? 4 scenarios. So we have to understand those 4 scenarios, which I'll be showing you just after this slide. Okay, and once you understand these 4 scenarios, you will be able to understand that when to take left turn, when to take right turn, when to stop, when to move forward. Okay, so those things will be important then. So let's try to observe. If you can observe this vehicle which is moving forward, can you see that, guys? It is trying to take turns. Are you able to see that, guys? I need a yes and no in the chat box. Are you able to see that it is taking turns? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so why it is happening? Because when I am at this place, there can be scenario 1. Let's suppose this is scenario 1. Scenario 2 can be like this. One sensor is here, other sensor is here. This is scenario 2. Third scenario can be at this place. You can see this sensor is present here, this sensor is present here. And fourth scenario, let's suppose I'm putting at this, suppose it's all black, fourth scenario. So are you able to see all the scenarios, guys? Tell me, are you able to see all the 4 scenarios? So scenario 1 is when both the sensors are on white surface. It will be better if you write this point. Okay, scenario 1 is what? Both sensors are on the white surface. I'm denoting them by W. Scenario 2, you can see, let's suppose if this is let's suppose this is left sensor, then left sensor scenario is on the black, whereas right sensor is on the white surface. Similarly, you can see here left sensor is on the white surface, here right sensor is on the black surface. And if you look at scenario number 4, there both the sensors are on the black surface. So we have to write the code for these 4 scenarios only. Okay, so in order to keep it in a very easy way, kind of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with the next part where you have to understand that how the code will flow. So from sensor, first of all, your data will be going to the Arduino board. Just now I explained you. And in the Arduino board, we will be writing the program which will be working according to the sensor's data. Okay. And we will also write a program which will be running this motor driver. Okay. And this motor driver will be ultimately running the motors. Okay. So this is the flow diagram using which your complete program will be running. Okay, guys. So now let's check one by one all four scenarios. So this is your, let's suppose, scenario one. So we have already discussed also. So if you look at this scenario, here our left sensor as well as right sensor both are on the white surface. I hope you are able to see that. Okay, this is our black surface. Both the sensors are on the white surface. Okay, so in this case, you can write, in this case, what we will do, we will always move forward. Okay, so if this case is coming, we have to move forward. Means we will take the sensor data, which is going to be 1. You all know, if the sensor is on the black, it is giving me 0. If it is on white, it is giving me 1. So when both the sensors will be giving me 1, in that case, what motor driver should do? It should help the motor to move forward. Okay, this is case 1. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Similarly, if you look at the second case is turning left. Okay, so why it is turning left, that you have to understand. So if you look carefully here, our left sensor is on the black, right sensor is on the white surface. Yes or no? So you know that you have to actually traverse the white surface, the black line. So it is possible only when you take a turn in this way. When you will take turn in this way, then only your both sensors will be coming in this way, and then your case 1 will be activated and you will move forward. Yes or no, guys? Are you getting my point? Okay. In this case, left turn is the only option using which you can move back your robot in this original position where both the sensors will be on the white surface and you can move forward. Okay. So if this scenario is coming, so what is this scenario here? If I write here case 2, then in this case, the scenario says that left sensor should be giving me 0 and right sensor should be giving me 1. If this scenario is coming, then I will tell the motor driver to turn left. Okay, now if you want to turn left, can you see that, guys? What we have to do, we have to turn this wheel. Can you see that? If I will turn this wheel, what will happen? It will move in this direction. Okay, so we will stop this wheel and we will move this wheel. Okay, so for moving forward, we will move both the wheels. For turning left, we will be moving this wheel, which what I'm trying to say is, which wheel? That is right side wheel. So we'll move this wheel so that we can move in this direction. Clear, getting my point? I hope this part is again clear to all of you. Okay. Similarly, if you go and look at the third scenario, which is turning right, which is completely opposite of that of left turning. Here you can see your right sensor is on the black surface, left sensor is on the white surface. So if you look carefully, we'll have to take this turn. So if I have to take this turn, then only our complete robot will be placed in this way, so that again I can move forward. Okay, guys. So for this case, that is case number 3, what we'll have to do, we have to, what case we will get? Our left sensor will sense and give me 1. Our right sensor will sense and give me 0. So if this scenario is coming in front of you, your Arduino board should turn the motor driver. It should turn the left wheel in this direction, so that the complete robot can be again moved in this way, so that complete forward movement can start. Okay, so I hope now this also concept is also clear to all of you. Now let's move forward in the last case, that is case number 4. In the case number 4, as I told you, both the sensors will be on the black surface. So as both the sensors are on the black surface, what will happen in the case 4, your left sensor and right sensor both will give the value 0. So if I get this kind of scenario, in that case, the motor driver should stop. Now, how to stop motor driver and all, don't worry, guys. We will teach you in the next part. I'll make you understand how we can do that also. Okay, clear? So with this, I'm just moving forward and I'm trying to show you applications. Okay, and at the last, we will do the coding section. Okay, so if you look at the application part, can you see here this robot, guys? What is this robot doing? This robot is carrying the plate and is actually for serving some people in the restaurant. So can you see that white line behind? Can you see that, guys? Okay, so it is actually working on the concept of line following. So there are some modern restaurants where instead of people, it is served by the robots. So what an interesting concept it is. Yes or no? Can you see this second case? Can you see that black line here? So in order to pick up the heavy loads, so robots are made, and just you fill all the heavy loads and it can carry forward. Okay. Now in this pandemic situation, you all know that doctors and all are not able to go to the patients. Yes or no? Because you know that coronavirus problem. So you can see latest technology based robots are made, which is following the line and it is going to the patient and delivering the spray or medicine or whatever. Okay, you might have seen these things in news. So actually they are using the concept of line following. Okay, and if we make some modifications in the sensors other than IR sensor, if you are placing some other sensors, then we can make a spray based robot which can move here and there, and it can spray the liquid so that the area can be cleaned. Okay, so here also we can place IR sensor, but the concept is a little bit different. Similarly, if you look at this sensor, this robot, it is designed for the coronavirus problem solution, where all the medical facilities are available. And here, can you see we have the sensor which is called as ultrasonic sensor, which is sensing the walls and all. So in future, I think I have taught you also ultrasonic sensor. So with the help of this ultrasonic sensor, we are able to sense the obstacle, and this vehicle will be guided, and it can do the desired task. Okay, guys. So I hope these examples have boosted you to focus on learning the practical part. Okay. So now it's time to code. So in the coding section, what we have to do, we have to actually code for these 4 scenarios. Clear, guys? So in order to do this, I'll quickly do what? I'll quickly move to the coding section, and let me directly jump to that part. Okay, guys? So have some patience and just wait a bit. So in order to keep it easy, what I'm going to do is I'm just opening the coding part, okay, in front of you, and I'm also opening the image which is in front of you. So if you look at this image, this is what we have to code. Okay, so I'm just making it small so that you can easily see the coding part as well as the image part. So just confirm me, guys, whether we are able to see the image part and the coding part together. Just write yes in the chat box if you're able to see the coding part and the image part. Yeah, great. So if you look at the code, you may feel that it is a little bit bigger, but don't worry, the code is not bigger. Once you understand one part, you will understand each and everything. Okay. So if we proceed forward here, I think before proceeding forward, let me quickly show you the hardware part. Okay. So that when I come back here and explain you, you should be in a position to understand. Otherwise, you may have some confusion, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'll be switching off my, I'm closing my screen, and I request Preetham to share his screen, and let's see all the hardware parts first. Okay, guys. Preetham, can you just share your screen so that we can show our students all the hardware parts? Okay, guys. So you can see this is called chassis. Chassis means the robot main body part. Okay. So on this body part only, the complete robot will be set up. So let's see how it is getting set up. Okay. So we'll see first of all the components. So this is the motors. Okay, guys, yellow colored, you can see these are the 2 motors which we will be fixing on with this chassis board. Okay. So first of all, you can see there are 2 wires coming from there, and these 2 wires only will be getting fixed with the motor driver. Okay. and you can see there is a pink color knob you can see there. Through that we will be connecting the wheel. Okay, you can see, Preetham, can you just connect that wheel and show our students? Okay, see, in this way our wheel will be connected. Okay, so when the motor will run, the wheel will also run accordingly. I hope you're able to see that, guys. Okay, great, fine. Now let's move to the third part, third component. So I hope you have seen that, guys, properly. Okay, now let's move to the third part. So two wheels will be there. Now this is your motor driver IC. I was telling you from the right point of view. Okay, right from the starting I told you. So this is your motor driver IC. So this motor driver IC will be connected with the Arduino board at one end, and another end it will be connected with the two motors. Okay, that all we'll show you. So you can see sir is pointing out. Okay, that part will connect the motors. Okay, and you can see, yeah, we'll connect the motors, and another part there are some pins. Okay, those pins will be connected with the Arduino board. Okay, once we will make the complete connection, we will also show you. Don't worry about that. Okay, just see carefully. Now let's see the next component. The next component is your wheel. You can say it's kind of a third wheel. Okay, which is having a roller at the end, because you know that when we'll connect two wheels, the complete setup will not be will be stable. So there is a roller. Can you see that roller that is trying to roll that? So that roller we will be connecting with the complete chassis, and it will help to get stable, and it will be moving. Okay, but that is not going to be programmed, guys. Let me make it clear to you. Okay, next we have the IR sensors, the main thing, the most important part. Yes or no? So we have two IR sensors, because you know that we require two IR sensors. We have seen also. And if you look carefully on the edge, can you see there are one black LED and one white color LED? Can you see that? So one of them is transmitter and other is receiver. Okay, so if the obstacle is coming, it will sense, and based on that, one LED is also there. Yeah, see, if you put like that, it's kind of obstacle is there, and one LED is placed on that sensor that will be glowing if the obstacle is there, and if there is no obstacle, then that LED will not glow. Can you see that red LED there, guys? Okay, so that red LED will glow if the obstacle will be there. So we'll show you also practically. Just wait a bit. And this is the Arduino board, which will be through which we will connect each and every part. Okay. And this is the data cable which we'll be using for writing the program inside the Arduino board. Clear, guys? Now it's time to connect each and every part. So observe carefully how we'll connect. So you have to take, you can see this side, there's a hole. Through that hole will pass our DC motor, and we will screw it up. Okay. So we'll take the screws. You can see the screw is in sir's hand. He will put that screw there, and he will just screw it up. So why we are screwing? So that the motor can be fixed at that position. That's it. No other things. Okay. So we'll take a screwdriver and we will screw it up. So I hope you have understood. One screw will be more than enough, because we are not putting this robot in some practical environment. One screw will be more than enough. I hope so, because we have to just show that it should move forward, backward, left and right. That only is required. Similarly, we'll connect the second motor also. Okay. So once we connect the second motor in the same pattern, we will have to again connect the other parts. So again, the same thing will happen. You can observe, guys. We will be again we'll put one screw and we will connect the second motor. Similarly, again we'll just screw it up, and your both motors are now connected. Now I'll request Preetham to connect the wheels. So once he's connecting the wheels, he will put it on the floor. Okay. And you will observe that it is not in a balanced situation. Let him connect the second wheel. So you all know about auto rickshaw, yes or no? Just imagine that if the front wheel, if I don't put, what will happen? Will the auto rickshaw be in a stable situation? I hope you're getting answer as no. Yes or no, guys? Tell me. You can write in the chat box. If I have an auto rickshaw with only two wheels, no wheel in the front, will it be in a stable situation? You can write yes or no in the chat box if you're getting my point. So you can see when we are putting it, can you see, is it stable? It is moving, it is falling actually front side. So in order to create that balance, what we will do, we will connect that small ball bearing based wheel, which will be helping it to be in a stable condition. Okay, so we'll just take the help of double-sided tape and we'll put it there. You can see there, and we'll just stick that that ball bearing based wheel. We'll do that way. Okay, fixed. And now you can see it is in a stable situation. I hope you're getting my point. So with this, we are able to connect our wheels and our robot is in a stable situation. Now, if our wheels will move, it will move in a very systematic way, forward, backward, left, right, and all. We'll do that. Now it's time to connect the other parts. So we'll take some double-sided tapes and we'll put it so that we can stick our Arduino board and our motor driver and our different components on top. So we'll fix our Arduino board there. So either you can stick it on that floor or you can stick on the Arduino board that also has the same thing. So by doing that, you can see you can fix your Arduino board. Done, guys. Very simple double-sided tape you have to use and will be fixed. Next, you will take the motor driver, because you know that motor driver is the thing which is going to connect your Arduino board with the motors. Okay. So we'll again take the double-sided tape. We'll put the double-sided tape on the chassis, and then we will put that motor driver complete board on the double-sided tape. So now your board and your Arduino board and your motor driver is now present on the. Now it's time to connect the sensors, guys. So sensors will be always placed in the front side. So you can see you will just put the knob downside so that when you are connecting it, it should actually point to the down surface. So you can see when you are connecting it on the top floor, can you see that, guys? When you connect your both transmitter and receiver, that black and white LED both are pointing downside. Okay, so once let us connect and then we'll show you. Okay, so we'll again take the double-sided tape and we'll connect our IR sensor in the same way we connected our Arduino board and motor driver IC. So let us connect both the sensors and then we'll give you an we'll again show you the complete robot. And my intention will be to focus on the IR sensors, which are actually turned downside. You can see sir is turning it downside. Now I would like to show it to the student. Yeah. Now guys, can you see that both the IR sensors, transmitter and receiver, is pointing down? Why it is like that, guys? So that it can sense the surface. Okay. We can sense the surface. That's why it is pointing downside. So I hope it is clear to all of you. Yeah, now we can proceed forward. So see, when you're putting on the surface, both the sensors are pointing downside. So what will happen? If it is a black surface, it will give 0. If it is a white surface, it will sense what? 1. So now what we'll do, we will connect the wires of both the motors in the DC in the motor driver. So in the motor driver, there are 4 knobs which has to be connected with these wires. So from both the motors, two wire is coming. You can see the one is yellow color wire and one is red color wire. Those two wires we have to connect with the motor driver IC. Okay, so you can see sir is connecting it. Maybe you may feel little bit difficulty in seeing that. Don't worry, once it is connected, we'll try to show you. So in this way, you have to screw it up so that wire is completely intact. You might have seen is connecting wires in your electrical boards. Okay, it is the same way, guys. Okay, it is completely same way. You have to just screw a little bit so that it will come up. You put the wire and then you screw it back. It will be tight. Okay, same way we are screwing it here. Similarly, we'll do for the second motor also. After connecting, make sure that both the wires are connected properly. Okay, so that is important. Otherwise, if it is loose, then the current supply won't be proper and you won't be able to get the correct output. So once you're connecting, you try to just shake it little bit and see whether it's not it's tight. I mean to say that. So you can see Sarah has connected all the 4 wires. I think 3 is done. Now 4th wire is there. So the 4th wire is connected. So this is half connection, guys. Okay. From in the motor driver, half part is connected with the motors and the second half. Now you can see, guys, can you see properly? All the 4 wires from both the motors are connected. Sir is also trying to show you separately. See, yellow and red, that combination is done. Okay, correct. Now we have to connect the 4 wires. Now, as you know that this motor driver is programmed by the Arduino board, so we will take 4 digital channels in the Arduino. You know, in the Arduino board we have digital channels and analog channels. Yes or no? So the 4 digital channels we'll take from the Arduino. In my program, I have taken 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, you can take any because there are total many digital channels are there. So let him connect. So you can just there are 4 pins which you have to connect directly to the 4 channel. Let's connect to 8, 9, 10 and 11. Okay, so see, one he has connected to the 4 pins, one pin is connected here and one is connecting to the pin number 8. Similarly, he will connect pin number 9, pin number 10, pin number 11 and pin number 12. 4 pins will be connected. It can be any pin, guys, it doesn't matter. You take any pin, but the connection should be there. That is important. And it should be a digital pin. That is also important. So once you connect all the 4 pins, the connection of motor driver with the Arduino board and the connection of motor driver with the motors is complete. I'll repeat once more. Once you make this connection, your connection with the Arduino board with the motor driver is complete and motor driver with the wheels are also complete. Now it's time to connect our IR sensors. You know that in the IR sensor there are 3 wires, 3 pins are there. One is VCC, other is ground and other is input. So that is a digital input. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll connect these 2 pins. The digital pin will connect to any digital pin. Let's take pin number 2. So we'll connect it to pin number 2 and other 2 pins will be VCC and ground. So VCC will go to 5 volt and ground will go to ground. VCC will go to 5 volt and ground will go to ground. So with these 3 wires, your first IR sensor connection is over. And similarly, we'll connect our second IR sensor. So in order to connect second IR sensor, again we have one digital pin which has to be connected. That will go to pin number 3. You can take any pin, guys. Don't worry. I'll describe that once more. Don't worry about that. So after connecting that digital pin to pin number 3, we are connecting VCC and ground. That is, it's connecting to 5 volt and ground. So once you do once you make this connection, your robot is ready to get programmed. Okay, you have to just write the program now. That's it. Okay. So what I will just say you is that you have understood how the sensors are connected, how the motor driver is connected. All these things now might be clear to you. Okay, guys. So now it's time to move to my screen and I'll show you all those 4 scenarios once more. I'll show you the program. I'll make you try to understand the program. In the meantime, they will be putting the program in the robot and they will show you the practical part. I hope Pritam, you can give me a thumbs up if it is okay. So I think it's clear till here to everyone. If you can write yes in the chat box, guys, if you can write yes in the chat box, I'll get assured that you have understood yeah. Okay, thank you, Rosen. So now it's time to share my screen and I'll show you again what is going on in the practical part in the coding section. Okay. So till now what you have seen. So I'll just draw a rough diagram to make you understand. So if you remember, this was your chassis board. On this, your Arduino board was there. Here your motor driver was there. And here we connected our 2 IR sensors like this. Clear, guys? And if you remember, there was one wheel this side and one wheel this side, and 2 wires were coming out from these 2 wheels. Okay, which was one of them was red color, other was yellow color. Red color, yellow color. So what we did is, I am just giving you an idea, guys. I hope that was clear to you, but to make it more clear, I'm doing this. So this motor driver, what is there? There are 4 pins here. Okay, and here there are 4 connecting options. So what we are doing is that we are taking these red wire I am connecting here, this yellow wire I am connecting to this place. Okay, then this red wire I am connecting to the 3rd point, and this yellow wire I am connecting to the 4th point. So I hope now you have understood how my 4 wires which is coming from both motors are connected on the motor driver. Yes, guys. Similarly, if you look carefully, our motor has the 4 pins which we will be connecting with the Arduino board. So on our Arduino board, you know, there are digital channels. So we'll take 4 digital channels, that is 8, 9, 10 and 11. 4 digital channels we are taking, and these 4 wires we are connecting like this. 8 is going there, 9 is going there, 10 and then 11. In this way, I'm connecting my 4 digital channels of the Arduino board to the 4 pins of the motor driver. Okay, and there I'm taking 2 more pins. One is pin number 2 and pin number 3. And you all know that on the IR sensor also there are 3 wires, 3 pins. So one is your output, whatever sensor is sensing, it is sending. So that I'm connecting to pin number 2. And this IR sensor also will be having that output pin, that I'm connecting to pin number 3. Okay, and on the Arduino board we have plus 5 volt supply and we have ground. Okay, so IR sensors which is having 2 more wires, one of them is plus 5 volt, another is ground, that we are connecting to these pins. So though the diagram may be little bit clumsy, but I hope I gave you a complete overview whatever the Preetham sir has done. Okay, so I hope you have got the idea, guys. So let's now proceed forward and let's see how we can complete. So as I told you, we can take any pin. So you can see here, I have taken 8, 10, 12, and 13. You can take any. I told that time randomly. So here you can see what I have done. I have taken 4 variables. I marked them constant. This constant why I'm making so that no one should be able to change it. That's why, nothing else. So I'm taking integer type variable. 4 variables I'm taking. I'm naming them as motor A1, motor A2 because motor A1 has 2 wires. Similarly, motor B1, B2, I'm taking 2 wires. So I've taken 4 variables here. Similarly, I have taken 2 sensors also. So pin number 3 and pin number 4, I am connecting to sensors. So guys, it's important for you to remember. So I'll just write here so that you should not forget. Motor A, I'll write here motor A. So motor A is connected to pin number 8 and pin number 10. Okay. Motor B is connected to what? Can you repeat, guys? Pin number 12 and 13. I hope you're getting. Then we have 2 sensors. Let's suppose sensor 1 and sensor 2, they are connected to pin number 3 and 4 respectively. So I hope now you have understood where your sensors are connected. Okay, where your motors are connected. That is clear to all of you. Accordingly, what I have done, I have taken 2 more variables. One, which of them will be keeping the state of the sensor. Means if the sensor is sensing, it will keep high. If the sensor is not sensing, it will keep 0. Okay, so that for that 2 states, I am taking 2 more variables. One is left sensor state. I have defined them as left sensor state and I have declared them as right sensor state, and both of them are of integer type so that I can store 0 and 1 there. Now coming to the void setup part, you know that the Arduino program has void setup and void loop, yes or no? So in the void setup, what we are doing, we are just activating all the sensors, all the outputs, all the channels. So no, you know that in the Arduino board, total we have taken 4 pins for connecting our motors and 2 pins we have taken for connecting the sensors. So you know that motor is the output device, so the channel should be marked as the output channel. Yes or no? And sensors are input device, so the channel should be marked here as input channel. So for that, you can see I have written the respective code. So the command pin mode helps us to decide the mode of the channel. So motor A1, motor A2, motor B1, motor B2 are actually what? Output devices. So I am marking their type as output channel. So if you write here output, what will happen? All the 4 channels, that is MOA1, motor A1, motor A2, B1, B2. I mean, I'm talking about 8, 10, 12, and 13. I'm talking about those 4 pins. Those 4 pins will be marked as output channel based pins. Okay. And if you look carefully, the next 2 pins are marked as what? Input type. Can you see that, guys? And that is pin number 3 and 4. So pin number 3 and 4 will be ready to accept the digital inputs, whereas pin number 8, 10, 12, and 13 will be ready to give digital outputs. Okay, so I hope the void setup part is clear to you, and I have also activated the serial monitor so that I can show the output in the serial monitor. So for that, the command is serial.begin. Okay, and you'll pass the baud rate as 9600. So with this, I am sure you have understood the void setup part, and you have got, I mean, your idea is a little bit clear that how the connections are established and how you can activate the channels. Now, once you have done that much, let's move to the void loop and let's try to understand what is going on here. So first thing which we should do is, let's take the input from the sensor. That is the first thing, because unless and until you take the input, you cannot process it. Yes or no? So the first 2 lines which you are seeing here, what I've written here, left sensor state and right sensor state. These are 2 variables which are ready to take the state of the sensors. That can be either high state or low state. I mean, it will be either 1 or 0. So for that, we will use the function digital read. Okay. So digital read is a function which helps you to read from the respective channels. Okay. So if the sensor is sensing high, with the help of digital sensor, I will be able to get that high signal and I can store them in the left sensor state. Similarly, I can store them in the right sensor state. Okay, and let me tell you guys, this is going to be a real-time data. When the robot will be moving on the surface, every time whatever changes will be occurring, based on that, the value of left sensor state and right sensor state will keep on changing. Clear? Getting my point, guys? When the robot will move forward, the sensors, left sensor data and the right sensor data will keep on changing. Clear? Now, as you know that once you have understood till here, once we have got the input, now it's time to understand all the four conditions. So I'll just try to zoom and show you. So first of all, we are going to move forward. Okay. So if you look carefully, this is the forward case. I hope it's visible to you. So in this forward case, you know that both the sensors are sensing. So if both the sensors are sensing, in that case, our condition will be that both sensors are giving me 1 1. So if you look carefully, out of the four cases, I am going to describe one by one. So let's suppose I'm talking about forward case. So this is the case where both sensors are sensing. Can you see that, guys? In the if condition, I have written here, if the left sensor state is 1 and means it should be, both should be 1. So that's why I've written here and operator, and I'm trying to see that if both sensors are sensing, then I have to do this task. Okay, so what actually I'm doing here, I am moving forward. So in the serial monitor, you will see the message will come as going forward. Means whenever your both sensors are on the white surface, in the serial monitor you will see the message going forward is coming there. Why? Because this condition has become true. Okay, now to move forward, you know that both the wheels should move. So for that, if you remember, when I was teaching you edge bridge, I explained you about the motor driver, and there we came to know that if you want to move a wheel, one should be high and other should be low. So you can see similarly, as I have to move both the wheels, so what I will use, I'll take the help of digital write command and I will pass A2 of the motor, A2 first wire as high and A1 as low, so that the wheel should keep on rotating. Similarly, I'll do with the second motor also. One wire I'm making it high, another wire I'm making it low. So this is the thing which you have to keep in mind, and there is and everywhere you will find a change in this position only. Means if I give you a recap, what I'm trying to say is that if you want your both wheels to move forward, then A1, I mean A and B both should have the combination of high and low, high and low. Okay. If you want to rotate, let's suppose you don't want to rotate, then you keep both of them as same. Either it can be low low or it can be high high. Okay, you can do that. So once this condition is met, both the motors will start moving forward, both motors will start rotating, and the complete movement will be towards the forward direction. So I hope this condition is clear to everyone. If there is anyone having any confusion, you can write now, you can ask, because once you understand this, it is hardly very easy for other parts to understand. I mean, if you understand this, it's very easy to understand the other three cases. So can I get a yes in the chat box if you have understood the movement logic of moving forward? Is it clear to you guys? You can write yes in the chat box if you have understood. Or if you have not understood any other part, any part, if you have not understood, you can ask me, guys. Is it clear? Can I get a yes in the chat box? Yeah, correct. Okay, fine. So I hope Roshan you are getting, and I hope others are also getting. Clear. So now let's proceed forward, guys. So we have seen our moving forward case. So now what I will do, I'll move to the turning left part. So if you look at this turning left section, in this what we have to do, we have to, you can see one of the wheels should move. Okay. So if you look carefully, in that case, one of the sensor is sensing and other of them is not sensing. Clear, guys? Can you see that? Okay. So it's up to you what you want to do. Okay. So if you look carefully, in our case, our right sensor is sensing. Can you see that? So our left sensor is sensing and our right sensor is not sensing. Why it is not sensing? Because it's on a black surface. So black surface it is not sensing. So you can see which scenario will be correct. Okay. So if you look carefully, our left sensor is sensing. So here is 1. Right sensor is not sensing, so it is 0 here. Okay. So if this scenario is correct, then what will happen? This logic or this part of code will be executed. Clear, guys? So in this, what will happen if this scenario is correct? You want only one wheel to rotate and other wheel should not rotate. So if you observe carefully, our motor A is only rotating and motor B is not rotating. Can you see that, guys? How I came to know? You can see one of the wire is marked as high, other is marked as low. So this is rotating, and here both of them are marked as low. So if both of them are marked as low, or if both of them are marked as high, it will not rotate. So in this case, what will happen? This wheel will be rotating. Okay, this wheel will be rotating, and your this turn will take place, and you will have a position like this, and your robot will start moving forward. Getting my point, guys? So I hope this is clear to everyone, and it's now just to check other two cases. So if you look at the turning left case, it is again the similar kind of. The only difference is you will look at the sensor. Here left sensor is off and right sensor is on. So similarly, you can see our left sensor is off here, right sensor is on, and in that case, this logic will be implemented, where you can see our first wheel is not moving and our second wheel is moving because it is having high and low, whereas first wheel is having both low. Clear, guys? So in this case, this wheel will rotate, and when this wheel will rotate, it will turn in this direction, okay, and it will lead you in this way, and so that you can keep on moving forward. Clear, guys? I hope it's clear to all of you. Okay, now only one case is left. Let's see that also. So that's again the case where both the sensors are not sensing, and in that case, what will happen? The only scenario which is possible here is that the left sensor and right sensor both of will be giving me 0 0, and in that case your robot should stop and your both motor should also stop, because ultimately when your motors are stopping, then only your robot is stopping. Yes or no? So you can see I have marked them both as low, and here I have marked them both as high. So whatever, if the polarity is same, the motor will not run. That is the logic. So here in this case, the motor will not run, and by this we are completing the basic logic section. And when you run this program, what will happen? Depending upon different scenarios, our robot will be taking different decisions, and it will be moving forward, backward, left and right, and you will get the output as I had shown you, okay, in the second diagram. If you remember that GIF image where the robot was moving forward, backward, okay. So with this, I am completing your logic part. I hope you have understood. If there is any query, you can put in the chat box. If there is no query, then let's move to the practical session. We will show you practically how that robot is, moving in the following the path, and it is moving. Okay, let's try to do that, guys. So I'm just stopping my screen. I'm requesting Preetham to switch on his screen and show us the practical part. So this same program will be dumped there, guys. Okay, and they will show you. So Preetham, is the setup ready? Then we can show to our students. I think there is some issue. Okay, fine. So Preetham has switched on his. So you can see, guys, the path are not similar one, but according to the logic, we have the path. Okay. So now as you can see, the path is tedha meda, so that we can get left, right, forward, backward, all those conditions very properly. Okay. And at last, you can see there's a stop condition there. Can you see that, guys? Stop condition. Yeah, correct. So now we'll put the robot. We are powering it up, and you can see when we are powering it up, as soon as you power it, can you see that, guys? It is moving slowly forward. Once the sensor is sensing the black, it is taking a turn. Can you see that, guys? Yes. Again, it is in a position where both sensors are in the white surface, and then it is moving forward. Again, can you see our left sensor is sensing the black? and then it is moving, trying to turn so that it can again come. So you see, if it is not able to come, it will keep on turning till the both sensors are on the white surface. Otherwise, what will happen? It's one wheel will be moving, and the turning. See now, can you see that position? Now both the sensors are sensing, and so it's moving forward. Again, now the sensor is sensing the black surface. It is trying to take a turn. Okay, slowly it will move forward, and once it reaches to the last position, just wait a bit. You can see, guys. So once it reaches that last position, it will stop there. Okay, so a little bit power issue will be there if you can see carefully. Actually, light properly should be also be there, then only it is possible. So now see, when it is reaching to the last point, it is stopping. Clear, guys? Okay, so with this we can wind up. Okay, great, good. So I hope you have understood that how our robot can traverse a path based on these four situations. Clear, guys? So if there is with this we can wind up the topic, and if anyone is having any query, you can write in the chat box. We will be separately giving you all the videos and the coding also. I'll send you. You can go through that. If you have any query, you can ask us anytime. Okay, guys. So with this, I'm winding up today's class. Have a good day, guys. If you have any query, you can ask.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
everyone.